Okay, so do you keep saying to yourself that you're gonna start next week or that everybody else is ahead of you? What if the reason you're stuck has nothing to do with motivation or confidence? In today's video, I want to run through why most people never start creating content even though they really want to. And I think the first thing that I think about when I want to create content myself is almost at the beginning, and with other channels that I've got, is I always started with the outcome and never really the habit. And what I mean by that is that it was almost like, what is the end goal of this? So it might have been like a subscriber goal, or it may have been a monetary goal or something like that, but it was never about, what are the habits that lead to the outcome, because ultimately that's what you need to focus on. And so an example of this could be, I'm going to create content every week on this specific day, and I'm going to talk about, X, Y, Z in this particular niche. And the powerful thing about that is it sort of takes you away from, if you think about the outcome first and you're thinking, well, okay, I want to build a business, I want to get all these subscribers, I want to reach this monetary goal. There's almost like too many factors that play into that when you're thinking about it up front. But instead, if you concentrate on the habit and purely, right, okay, I'm just going to put out one video per week. It's going to be about this particular topic or niche, and I'm just going to build from that. And in that way, the process becomes really simple. You start to see progress week to week, but the powerful thing about it is that you're not trying to spread yourself too thin. You're not trying to think about all these other different platforms and where you can monetize the channel. You're just really concentrating on a habit. And I think the powerful thing, again, sort of about that and what makes it work well is that it just allows you to sort of concentrate on one particular area, build the habit, and then sort of build on top of that. I think the other thing, again, which is really important, and one that I learned myself, is that, almost treating like every single piece of content like it was, a performance, almost like it had to be this absolute perfect piece of polished content that was put out. So, I would obsess over things like, well, what cameras have I got? What gear have I got? I'd go out and buy the latest camera, and just things that aren't necessary, or maybe concentrate too much on, well, how does the setup look? And obviously all of them things that you have to have a certain level. You have to have a certain level of, quality, I think, for YouTube nowadays, just because the sort of bar's raised slightly. But what it doesn't mean is that has to be this like Oscar-winning performance, this Mr. Beast style sort of edit and cut. It just doesn't have to be like that. I think simply, having decent enough equipment for it. So for example, I'm filming this on an iPhone. I've got like a basic lighting setup, and just having like some decent equipment, and really just like focusing on the quality of the content, and I guess like how you're helping the audience, rather than thinking about it like, well, it's this absolute feature film, it needs to be super high quality, all the editing needs to be perfect. But again, it's all these things which almost just get in the way of putting something out. It almost goes back to the last point, like, rather than just like building that habit up and getting anything out and focusing on like quality content, rather than this like perfect finished piece, they're all just things that just sort of get in the way. And so again, with that one, it's almost like the advice out there generally is like, film with what you've got in your pocket. If you've got a phone in your pocket, then then use that. It's absolutely fine. So the other point I want to talk about is like waiting for certainty. So almost like, I think again, for myself, is almost like, thinking up front, like what's, is this going to work? Is this the right content to be creating? Am I helping, the right person or the right audience. But actually what I've learned, and again from my other channels, is that really that certainty or that clarity only comes after publishing. It's almost like, that's why, again, there's not much point in, obviously, again, you want to be like a decent quality, but spending all that time like trying to get the perfect things out, because at the end of the day, nobody 100% knows what's going to resonate with the audience, and and if it's actually going to help. And so the idea is you're never going to know that up front. You're never going to have that sort of certainty, and sort of putting things out in a in a quick way. Obviously the content has to be quality, but in like a getting a regular cadence of putting things out, you're going to learn extremely fast. You're going to learn what's helping people, what doesn't help people, and it almost then that should sort of really guide like what future content you're putting out, because then you understand like these are things that people want to hear about, or these are things that like people are struggling with. So again, for me, it was like, not being 100% sure before putting things out that whether it was going to work or not. And again, like I say, that really only comes after, after publishing. So yeah, and I think the sort of takeaway from this and those 3 points is that, you don't start really when you feel like you're ready, as in like you've got all the right gear, you've got the perfect like content or niche, and you've got the perfect sort of delivery framework, but you actually feel ready once you start that process. And as I say, it almost like comes with time. You have to put things out in order to like learn and adapt, and then again over time, like with like persistence and with quantity, then comes quality, and you can start to upgrade things like your camera gear and your lighting, and naturally, obviously, you become a better communicator, and your topics and things that you're speaking about and the problems that you're helping people address, start to resonate a little bit more, and your delivery of them things becomes a little bit better. So as I said, that would be the key takeaway from this, is that don't start when you feel ready, but you will feel ready once you start. So all I would say is that if you want help publishing your content, or getting better at content and getting things out and getting that regular cadence, then feel free to subscribe. I do have a gear list which I'm going to leave in the description for anyone interested, which will basically just detail the camera that I use, the lighting, and also the microphone as well. And this sort of particular setup has helped me get content out fast. I think that is really the purpose, is like not overthinking it. It's just having the right gear to do the job with quality as well. I think hopefully you'll agree that this setup looks pretty good, and again, I'm achieving that. So if you like that would be in the description below. But that's all from me. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.